Oh, ooh, the recording's in progress. So, vibration. Talking about vibration again today, and I think I'm going to be talking fast because what I realized about 8 or 10 years ago is that everything is vibration. Everything that we hear, and we understand that, is vibration, but everything that we taste is vibration, but everything that we touch. So even if it's the computer or the desk or the chair, it's made of vibration. So everything, oh, I said here, right? Smell, everything that we smell. It's not that it doesn't have its own smell. And what I realized, and taste, but what I realized is that everything is vibration. And we were talking about God, so I have to throw this in, is that the vibration, also called energy, also called a lot of other things, that's in us. I believe that my vibration is God or God-centered or the divine or however you might look at it. But I know that
I can't hear Ruth.
Ruth, I
There.
muted you.
Can't Ruth either.
Speak.
I'm good.
She muted.
Okay.
I saw that she muted me. What a girl. Because that was vibrating too much, I think. for her. So yes, pain is vibration. And there are more and more clinical ways to look at pain that involve vibration that didn't used to be, but now they've got three kinds of pain instead of two as of 2016. There's not just acute pain and chronic pain, but there's Nasoplastic, NOCI plastic, which means pain all over and very deep. And there are different ways that they've defined it, but pain is vibration. And I thought, well, you know that some of you know I made a videotape called Willy Nilly because I'd always told people they have to move from the inside out and move intentionally. And then I started reading all of this about vibration, and I thought, if we shake, that's vibration and it's good for us. And then I thought, well, how can I make it fun and maybe a little funny? And so I named it Willy Nilly, but on shaking, that we need to be able to shake. Like I said the other day, like the dog gets up and shakes. We had one of our bank accounts hacked, and I got home from a trip and saw that we had $9.97 left. You can be sure I started shaking. And when I got off the phone with the guy from the bank, I was shaking even more because he's telling me, oh, this will all be taken care of in 120 days. And I had saved that money so we could go on a trip to see the grandkids. So anyway, you have trauma and it makes you shake. And yet we're told not to shake, not to mm, ex, expose everybody else to our trauma. And so we have to hold it in and hold it in. And I think that causes some of our pain. Anyway, I follow a kind of routine when I'm working with clients and myself. Relax the tissue, stretch the tissue, strengthen the tissue. Because if the tissue isn't relaxed, there's no way you can change the muscle recruitment pattern. It's just not going to change at all. So you have to relax the tissue first. And we know that there's myofascial release and that there's aqua stretch and that there's massage and a lot of things for relaxation. But when I got into this vibration thing, which I'm a little bit neurotic about, I admit it, that I thought it was just vibration that you could hear in music. But then I realized it was more. It was in people's voices. It was in the water. It was in everything that I was dealing with. And so I thought, well, I wonder if shaking could work as vibration. And yes, it's just a different frequency and a different amplitude, but shaking does it. I don't know that it's as effective as a vibratory pattern, a regular vibratory pattern. But I think shaking is good for us and we need to do it to get trauma out. So humming. we talked about humming because yes, it's already, we've talked about it today and we talked about it the other day, but it stimulates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the one that can help with digestion. It can calm you down. It can get your heart rate stable. It can decrease your blood pressure to the rate or increase it to the rate that it's supposed to be at. The vagus nerve is the all-encompassing nerve that works on every organ, and it works on the brain. It works on everything. So humming, if we can just hum. So I'm thrilled to hear that, yeah, that you guys have been doing some humming. I have a friend in Sweden who at her pool, they have a gong. You know what I mean? A gong, a big ancient gong. And she said they hit it and the water ripples. They can see that water rippling at the same frequency, and they get in the water and it feels so good. So every now and then she'll hit the gong and it'll calm them down. And I remember long ago, I learned that Watsu practitioners, and Watsu is where the ears are underwater, had underwater speakers that played music that was relaxing for those people. So I bought one. I just want to show you a mistake. Okay, I bought it was called an underwater speaker, but this part has the music, this floats, and it connects to your phone or whatever device. And then you can charge it on land, but it floats. I have to start searching again, because when I looked again, it talked about shower speakers. I don't want a shower speaker. I want something under the water that's going to vibrate at a frequency that's healing to me. And somebody said last week, 528 hertz, and that is the number, but it's also the number for spiritual healing, as because I had to go and look more about it. So it is a great idea to do that kind of stuff. Yes, so if you want something underwater but above water, those of you who are teaching groups, the music that you play, as you know, it can liven things up or it can calm people down. And you can use different music to achieve different things for different people. There is something called vibrational release exercise, VRE, and is some yoga, and sometimes it's the vibrational plates that Jane and I were talking about last week, that you get those plates that you stand on and they vibrate. And my frustration with those has been that they only do certain frequencies. You've got to get something that's got a lot of frequencies. And I want you to know that this is not all alternative, although that's the way I came at it. You've heard of TENS unit that have been used in physical therapy forever, and now people can buy their own because it's like $30 to $60 online, I think, to get your own TENS unit that vibrates at different frequencies. And then they made an interferential current therapy, IFC, interferential, and it vibrates at more of a medium frequency, a different one, and it's for people who have deep pain. So it's not just those of us, 2 minutes I have. Okay. Then I'm going to jump and tell you about TRE, trauma release exercise. And what they say is that you get into a certain position and hold it. And when the muscles start to fatigue, like if you started to get down into a squat and you were just standing there, as soon as those muscles start to tremor, then you lie down and let all those tremors come out. Or another way they said is that you can lie on your back, and you know the clam where your feet are together but both knees are out, and you bring them to a certain point and then just hold them until they start to tremor. And they tell you that you'll be able to, you'll know what you're getting rid of when you're tremoring. It's TRE, trauma release exercise. So I thought that was exciting. And then I just want to tell you, you're doing jumping jacks, make people shake their arms while they're doing their jumping jacks. You're doing cross country skis, make them shake them forward or back or some way like that. You're doing something with the arms where you're working the arms, stand on one leg, shake the other leg. Shake the hip, get the hip moving, get the pelvis moving, get the rib cage moving, shake everything. Your turn.
I'm really looking forward to your book. I just got your ebook and I haven't read it yet, but is this part of it? Is this part of the stuff that's in the book?
TRE is in there,
Okay.
and shaking, but it doesn't go into specific shaking.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm not trying, I haven't talked about the book because I'm not trying to sell my book to you. I'm not trying to sell you anything except share things with you and spend some time with you and exchange ideas with you. So I'm thrilled if you buy it, but I love you no matter what. I don't,
I know, but for us at the pool, we just partnered up with another company and they've been providing these sound bowl meditations with cello and then also whale sounds, and they're all on top of the water. And we've done floating meditations at our retreats before, and we're in the water. We have the same issue. I got to find an underwater. I have to find an underwater, like a stereo too. Like that's a good point.
yeah,
But I
lots
see.
that used to
I
drop
want them to
the
be
speaker in.
okay. Well, I'll be on the look for that as well.
I will
But
too. Whoever
I
finds
just
it first will let everybody know.
I just want to learn more because I agree. I agree. I want to, but I see them all on top of the water, but I want to prove that in the water is even more healing.
Great, thanks, Nicole.
You know, Ruth, I think about the shaking, you know, and I tell my students all the time, we shake a lot, you know, to just let it all go. But I watch, like, if you watch athletes getting ready to perform, like I always look at my swimmers. I'm watching swimmers now. And what do they always do? They go up to the blocks and what do? They shake, or your athletes, they're shaking out the pain, they're shaking out the fatigue, and everything's moving in their body right before they perform. So to me, that's where I go. Like, if they're doing that, they're in their head, they're right there, they're in the zone. And it's like, I don't know, it excites me. And when we do movement and sound in my yoga classes and we shake and you know, we use sound, people go like they go like, what just happened? You know what I mean? They wake up. I don't know. It's like they wake
Yes.
up. So
Okay, great. Thank you, Mary Beth.
Okay, Ruth, you were talking about the various methods, like apart from the Thames or a step up from the Thames. Just to let everybody know, I have a spinal cord stimulator implant, which is one of these with a constant electrical stimulus that keeps the pain from the spinal pain from my T6, T7 area from my toes from reaching my brain to say I'm in pain. So I can turn that way up and feel the total vibration like I've just stuck my finger in a light socket. And then I can turn it down to my program where I know it's constantly going, but I'm not feeling it. So they're coming out more and more, and they're improving them more and more.
And
So,
it's called SCS, spinal cord stimulation. And they implant it. The other one they implant is called PNS, peripheral nerve stimulation. And
Okay.
it's a little bit even more powerful than the
Yeah.
SCS.
Yeah. Well,
And
mine's almost 5 years old, so I'm sure there's multitude of wonderful things out there.
oh, it'd be fun to see you through those night vision glasses.
You know, it's so weird.
Sorry, where my brain goes. Meg wants to talk.
So this really reminds me of, there's a program called Ageless Grace that was created by Denise Medved. Tool number 18 is called Shake It Up Baby. She actually goes into begin shaking, vibrating, tremoring, shimming, jackhammering, looking at ways of life, and then she goes into ways to move them with abandonment, a lack of self-consciousness, relax the muscles and ligaments. But her shimmy, shimmy, shake, even with ping pong. And I was going to say in my class today, like once I had my first week back, and I call it cardio and core, and I started shimmying, and the whole class, big smiles, but they're like, she's back. But the whole point is shaking is very, very important, and the vibrating. And this is called it's called Shake It Up Baby from Ageless Grace. So all this stuff has been complementing all the stuff I've studied. So I'm very excited. But it's called, like I said, it's tool number 18, but the shaking is important. So
Thanks, Meg. I just have to throw something in. If you're working with shaking, whether it's easy shaking or hard shaking or fast shaking,
tempo.
you watch your clients because many of them will hold one spot. They'll be shaking, but you'll see one shoulder's not moving or their head is tight. And we need to gradually get everything going. So watch for those spots that they're anchoring with, because those are the spots they're afraid to move. Okay, next. Edie.
Okay, I've got a couple of things. First of all, there was a time when I remember I was doing a lot of myofascial release, and so they had I don't know, across the United States, we were supposed to listen to drum music at a certain time and shake to it. And it was interesting. I had a CD of drum music, and it had a different beat to it. And after I did it, I thought, wow, it was a half an hour. That was great exercise. And of course, then I never did it again. But it's a nice way of getting people to move.
Let me ask you one question about that. That was the PTs?
No, it was through John Barnes' myofascial release.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So he said, let's everybody do it at the same time to get this universal energy going. And it was pretty impressive, actually. It was a Sunday night, if I remember correctly. It was a long time ago. One thing for people, if they're interested, the latest Consumer Reports magazine has a big article on the pain that you were talking about. I just got it the other day, and it was talking about all the stuff that you were mentioning and mentioning different ways of managing it. And I think one of the things that I'd mentioned once before, a couple of times ago, I always used a biomat, which is it uses far infrared rays to heat the body. And the way it works is it vibrates the interstitial and cellular fluids to not only relax everything, but it also increases heat that way. And so it was kind of fun that you're talking about that, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm sitting on that now, because I unfortunately experienced a compression fracture a couple of weeks ago, and because I'm old and had Cushing's disease, and I have osteoporosis and all that jazz. So it's really helpful and very relaxing and it's more comfortable than sitting without it. And one other thing, there are techniques with myofascial release that do help to identify when there's a stuck area of vibration, when there's been an injury. We were talking about trauma release. And when I've been in all the courses that I've been into, inevitably somebody releases, and it's curious to see what the body wants to do. And it's a safe environment in which you can get rid of all that energy, and all of a sudden they're better, or they're much better. And so it's so interesting how the vibration can help to release a lot of stored energy, and it is traumatically induced.
Oh, thanks, Edie. I see that Mo wants to talk. Edie, I love having the physical therapy side of things here and all the others, because we get so much information. Go, Mo.
How about emotional pain? There's definitely that level too. I've been taking treatments from a somatic therapist, and that's what we do. You say about going down into a squat and starting to shake so what she tells me to do is, when I start to feel the pain, fatigue in my thighs, start to yell and just screaming. Now I don't feel the pain in my legs anymore from the squat. So releasing through yelling is another way, besides it's definitely vibrations. Vibrations is a big part of this somatic stuff, is that when you're getting to the end of it, she says, okay, now go into a waterfall and see if you can find some vibrations. and the vibrations, so you let down there and vibrations start happening in my legs, and I'm just letting them go, and it releases whatever's left. It's very interesting.
Thank you so much. I believe that much of our pain is trauma induced. And that she's talking about screaming. Would you do that in the middle of Walmart when you hurt yourself? I don't think so. We have been taught to hold it in.
To hold it in.
Little kids, babies, animals, they don't care where they are. They're going to start screaming when they hurt. And we can't. We've been taught to. So I love it that it hurts, start screaming. Yeah. I like it. Okay. I know Mimi's waiting.
Oops. Yeah, well, I had a very interesting experience this week, in that many of you may remember Gary, my dear friend, who I always stay with when I'm in Florida. And many of you have met him at all the IAFC and all those things. Well, he's in the hospital right now because he's had knee surgery. It went poorly, and I found out about it from a mutual friend of ours, Martin, who lives in Austria. Martin took over my mother's house in New York, and then I would stay with him. And anyway, Martin suffered from shingles, and he had it like 8 or 9 years ago, and he still is in pain from it.
Oh.
Okay, so he was a massage therapist. He was telling me that he got a machine invented by somebody called Royal Rife. I looked it up, and I'm not so sure about it, but it has all sorts of frequencies, and he uses it on where he has the pain. And he said it's so good. And he had cancer as well. And he said, I don't know about this, but since he's been using that with the vibrations, because there's a specific vibration for every different kind of cancer, for example.
Right.
He has lymphoma, and so he was using it, and he doesn't have it anymore. I would be really happy if that could happen to the whole world, but I don't know. Okay, so I'm just throwing it out there, but it is
The Rife machine,
Yeah.
RIFE. We talked about it
Yes.
last week.
Exactly.
I think it's valuable. I think it's worth trying. I told you it's expensive, and it's not a machine. It's an app, and you put it on your computer, and then you can listen to it, but you get these kinds of headphones so that you can put it on your leg because the pain's there, or because your cancer is bladder cancer, you put it on your bladder and it gives you the frequencies. I think the Rife machine has value. I don't know that it's been scientifically proven, but thanks, Mimi. You want to say more about him?
He's been suggesting it also. He's in Austria. He's in Graz. I'm in Italy, and we're both really worried about Gary because Gary has no one. He is alone. He had a partner, but his partner had to go back to the Philippines. And so, well, anyway, to make a long story short, so we're considering, or at least Martin is considering going to Florida and helping him with his recovery from this, because apparently he's on a lot of pharmaceuticals, and so he's not thinking straight. Anyway, so but we had a long talk about vibration, and I told him about the things that you told us last week as well. So
Excellent. Where
Thank
is
you.
he in Florida?
he is not far from Boynton Beach.
Okay.
Okay, well, he lives in Boynton Beach, but right now he's in a rehab place nearby there. In fact, I had wanted to tell you about it. So anyway, he's a brother. He's a brother. I love him like a
Great,
brother.
he is. Okay, Barbara, what do you have to say about vibration? Anything?
Are you referring to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, the vibration plates, we actually use those in my office. I work for Naturopath, and she has a couple of different ones, the professional level ones, so that you can change the levels. But we also have a chi machine. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay.
CHI.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a machine. You lay on your back and you put your ankles in it, and it wiggles you side to side. And where I do lymphatic therapy, lymphatic drainage on most of my clients, we encourage them to use the vibration plate, but also to use, well, we have this whole setup. It's called the Soki bed. I don't know what the letters stand for, but anyway, it's an infrared unit. 3 panels go over the top of you and heat from the core, but we incorporate the chi machine while you're experiencing the infrared, and it's great for lymphatic. Somewhat helps with alignment of just the whole body, but it's an amazing thing. It'd be worth looking into. I do have a couple of clients that have purchased chi machines to use in their homes because they loved it so much. The guy that developed it is he was watching fish in a fish tank, and he was thinking, how do they oxygenate their bodies? Well, it's through that waving motion that they oxygenate. So he thought, well, let's come up with something to help humans with that sort of thing.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you, Barbara.
Yeah. And then of course I do little bits of sound, like I say, in my massage sessions with people. And I have actually, when I was working at the hot springs, I had brief moments where I was doing I Chi with a couple people here and there, and various water therapies, but I would use my Tibetan singing bowls on top of the water and hit those while we were working or just relaxing even.
Yeah, the singing bowls, I mentioned them last week. Those are, and Nicole talked about them today. The singing bowls, the tuning fork, all
Yeah.
those options.
Yeah, and remember I mentioned last week the 432 hertz is the calming and 528 is healing. Heals DNA. Somebody asked where I'm at. I'm in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Okay, we're coming for a massage.
Okay, come on down.
Go on, Mimi.
I have one thing mentioning infrared. I don't know if you have it in the United States, but here in Italy, there's a company that has made textiles that are made with ceramic, and the ceramics reflects but it doesn't, I mean, it feels just like regular material. It's,
Right.
you know, you wear workout clothes and what have you, all sorts of things. Anyway, and the ceramics reflect the infrared from your body back into your body, so that you are constantly reusing your own. All right. And it's really great because you can work out with it, and like on the hip. I'll send you, I'll see if I can find the website in English. If I can't find it, I'll send it to you in Italian. So, but I do believe that they're starting to sell it now in the United States. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the tariffs, huh? So
I've seen it. No, I've seen it. I've seen the vibrational cloth, and it
Yeah.
works much like the patches. I use a patch, and it's called LifeWave patches, but it has to do with vibration. It has no chemicals because I'm not that kind of girl. And
Yeah.
so I wear a patch and it rejuvenates. It works with my own energy, vibration, whatever you
Exactly.
call it, because it's all the same. And it works with that and rejuvenates what's in me. So it works with what's in me without chemicals. So I'm happy as can be.
My daughter-in-law's father is an orthopedic surgeon, and he has now arthritis in his hands. And I got him the gloves, the fingerless gloves, and he
Right.
sleeps with them because when he operates, you know, sometimes it gets so painful for him. And so he wears these practically all the time. And he says the only thing that gives him relief. So
Yeah. Last week we did the handshake. Oh, 2 weeks ago we did the handshaking. He needs to. Edie wants to jump in.
Okay, I have a chi machine myself, and I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I really love it, but my only complaint that I had was that it only has one frequency. And so when I first started it, using it, it was too fast for what was comfortable for me. And so I had to get used to it. I mean, I could only put it on for a couple, a minute or so. I mean, now I can keep it on for as long as I want. My son actually has taken it away from me because he's got 2 bad knees and he lies on a biomat. So he has the far infrared rays underneath him while he's shaking on the couch. And his kids love it.
Yeah, all of those work on that same idea. And I would look for vibrations at different frequencies, because if you buy something that has 2 frequencies, you're stuck there. So look, like, that's why I like that Rife machine. And somebody asked about, oh, the VNS, a vagal nerve stimulator. That's implanted, just like what Linda was talking about. They often implant that for rheumatoid arthritis, and they'll implant it into the women so that when they have, and it was all women in the studies, when they start to have pain, they can click the button and it stimulates the vagus nerve. But you can stimulate the vagus nerve by yourself with deep diaphragmatic breathing. So you don't need the stimulator. It's the breath. And I believe the breath comes back to vibration and it's all one. So, comments? Who else wants to jump in here? Jane, last week we talked about the, what were the initials of the vibrational, not plate, but
pulse electronic magnetic frequency.
PEMF. Okay, I remember because I've read about it.
Yes.
Pulse electronic magnetic frequency. And tell us about it.
Right. And I have a mat with that, which is basically vibration. It doesn't have unlimited frequencies, but it has some. It also has crystals embedded in it, and heat. Some of you may have heard about a BEMER. It increases your circulation to the capillaries. So this is a less expensive version of the BEMER. And it is wonderful. I take a nap on it every day. So I don't know, there's some good research on it.
So with your mat,
Yeah.
do you sit on that? Is it a lying down mat? Is it for putting
It's
in
a
your lap?
lying down mat. It's a lying down mat. You can use it to do your yoga, to do your exercises on, or to lie down. But it's very heavy. So you don't, moving around and traveling with it is difficult because it's about 40 pounds.
Okay, there you get
It
your
has a
workout
lot
and then
more-
you use it to get rid of the pain.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but we're old, so we have an extra bed that isn't used often, and that's where it stays.
Good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for
Yeah.
that. That was good information. Cynthia, has this done anything for you today? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, it has. And last week, and I was thinking about the music that I use. I don't know the frequency of the music I use, but it must be something positive because everybody always feels better after class. But all of it is useful information. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Barbara wants to.
So also, Ruth, back many years ago, the water ballet people, what do you call them? Synchronized swimming. Now, they had speakers that go in the water.
So they could stay on
And
tempo.
yes. And I mean, we had a great big, I don't know, some kind of great big sound system that put speakers in the water.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know if they still use such a thing
all
or
have it.
not.
We'll find
Everybody,
out.
everybody who
all
does
have- yeah.
synchronized swimming has underwater speakers. They have to,
Yeah.
otherwise they don't hear the water.
So
And I
we'll
wanted
find
to show
some.
you
Right, right.
this.
So Barbara wanted to jump in.
Yeah, so one more thing. Well, I remember PEMF, we have another place I work is a chiropractic office, and we have a big unit, a big bed and a chair. They have all sorts of pads. I forgot about that for vibration. But my other thought was, do you ever go outside and do grounding? Just put your feet on the ground and pick up the vibrations of the earth.
It's amazing.
It is.
Except don't do it barefoot in Florida. Some kind of ant is going to bite you, or you're going to be
Oh,
full
no.
of chemicals.
Yeah, I'm lucky here. I don't have too much that's going to bite me here. So,
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. That
Sure.
was great. Nancy, any comment?
You know, Ruth, this has really been fantastic. I talked to my class on Friday about vibration, and it just started a huge storm of conversation. And there, I mentioned that I was going to be on this call today, and that was why it was absolutely important that I get here. And they're like, tell us more, tell us more. And I've also bought the book, looking forward to consuming that. But it really started some fantastic conversations within my group. Picked up great information today, and so my feedback is this is wonderful. It started a lot of conversations. We found out people who have lymphedema and started a whole conversation on our bodies, much deeper than we'd gotten before. You know, it established friendships. People were talking, we've been talking about music and getting lots of compliments on the music and how important that is. And, you know, mind changes as we go through our workout from very fast to much slower and calming. And just, this is really hitting a strong note with my classes. That was what I'd like to share.
Oh, thank you so much. That was great to hear. And it helps those of us who work in classes, and I don't, but I take some, a way to share ideas.
Yeah.
Thank you. By the way, you guys, if you email me, ruthsova@ruthsova.com, I'll send you that willy-nilly video. Okay. So you've got it. Because it shows you how to shake in the water. If you're not in the water, it's not going to do you much good. Anybody else? Patty, you have either Patty. We have two Patties.
I've been using a massager that was recommended, and I'm finding that that's really been helpful. And it said I've watched a number of YouTube videos on using this massager. It makes all the it's a probably a less expensive way of getting the vibration going. But at this point, it's been very, very helpful and sustaining for a bad knee that I've been fighting with for 4 years. And now going to see 2 more surgeons for second opinions. But no, the willy-nilly, I can't tell you enough about the willy-nilly. That's wonderful. And
Thanks,
of course,
Patty.
the hydrostatic pressure that is created when we are in water. So water and just trying to get as much massage, as much vibration into your body as possible.
Perfect.
I can't say enough about it, but I'm going to look into the RIEFE machine as well. I know about the Beamer.
Good.
And of course, Ruth's LifeWave. The only thing that's holding me back, Ruth, and maybe somebody else can address this, is the fact I read, and I don't know what you're going to say about this, but I read that it goes by your weight. And I've drastically been trying to lose that. It goes by your weight. Like you're supposed to drink a certain amount of water every single day. And
With the LifeWave patches is what she's talking about. And that's, some people make rules but there are no rules. You use them as you can. And what I found is that it took almost a year, because they say 1 month of use for every decade you are. And I'm 78 years old. So I've been using them for 2 years, and now I'm starting to see way more changes. So I don't want to talk about just life. And by the way, you do not have a bad knee. You have one that's compromised, and you love it, and the rest of your body loves it. Got it? Okay, other Patty. Other
Hi.
Patty. Oh,
Hi, I am curious about these vibrations and people with implanted devices. Like my husband has a pacemaker, and when I first looked at the TENS machine about 8 years ago, I asked him about it and they wouldn't sell it to me because they said it was contraindicated for people with pacemakers. So I just wanted to be sure that we're, not any cautions we needed to be aware of in terms of people's health issues.
It's a great question. And I think that if somebody is in a medical system and something like that, you have to be very cautious. I don't think the shaking, depending on how hard you shake, that shouldn't bother them. But I could see other vibrations. But I think music outside the body, I think it would be okay. Edie, what do you think?
I was thinking about that. I don't think you'd ever want to put a TENS unit around where a pacemaker is. I think if it's on a different part of the body, far away from there, I can't imagine why it would have that effect. When I haven't used a TENS unit in a long time, but I think that if they are saying don't use it, I would question them why. If it's not going to be right where the pacemaker is, I don't see where it would have a problem with that. But again, I haven't used it in a long time.
And you used it with patients who had multiple different issues.
Yes. And so, we'd put the electrodes in different places, usually around the back or around a knee or something like that. Usually the back.
Perfect.
So I can't answer that for sure because it's been a while, but it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, my mother has a pacemaker. She just re-injured her old rotator cuff tear and just finished up physical therapy. They were using the interferential current with her, no problem.
Good. Okay. I hope that helps, Patty.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else want to jump in with comments, thoughts? There goes Mimi
Just one
again.
thing. Yeah, sorry. When you were
Don't
talking
be
about
sorry.
wiggling and jiggling, and we used to do that with the belly dancing in the water. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
No, I presented that in the, and I did it also with oh, wait a minute. Our friend in Florida who does the videos. And his name is
Revelding.
Mark Revelding.
Right. Yeah. I did it with him too. So we were wiggling and everybody had, because you would never do that on land. I mean, none of my ladies would have ever done belly dancing in front of a mirror on land. Doesn't happen. But in the water, the only person that's looking at them is me, and I have no shame. So I would wiggle and giggle and jiggle, and they were all having a great time, and they felt wonderful afterwards.
Wonderful.
So.
Thank you. Any other comments? Next week, we're back to a fitness topic. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, next week we're off vibration, but we'll all be shaking anyway. And next week's our last week. So it's the end of summer and kids are back at school and I'm back to some kind of work. So we're set?
We're set.
Okay.
Everybody
I love
say
you
bye.
all. Take care of yourself. Patty, we all love your knee. Bonnie, yours too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.